What's good, team? Welcome back to another episode of Explained series. In this week's episode, I'm going to bring you guys Deskbots Explained. But before I get to the video, I want to apologize for my schedule not being as consistent as I has been for the past few weeks. Life has gotten a little bit busy over this past end of the month. My son's birthday was last week. Kind of held up my video making process, and then I've been working in mornings more instead of working in the evenings. So that's also taking up a lot of my time, but videos should be back to my normal schedule, standard Monday, Wednesday, Friday, on time, typically 9 a.m. next week. So I'm going to try to push out more videos on Memorial Day since I'm going to have a day off from work. So instead of all that talking, without further ado, let's begin. Alright guys, so welcome to the episode of Deskbots Explained, and like I said, I'm going to be going over Deskbots and why the deck is good. I'm going to give you guys a really good in-depth analysis for the deck because I personally play against the deck a lot at locals, and to be frank with you guys, I fucking hate this deck so much. Well, in a good way, it's like a love-hate relationship because I feel like the deck can do so much with little effort at times, and then I feel like also the deck just gets on my nerves. So this is Deskbots Explained. Let's begin. Why the deck is good. The deck is good because it's very explosive. It can OTK a lot, and it has a medium consistency, meaning the deck is consistent sometimes, but it's not that consistent. Like maybe two out of every 5 hands the deck draws is probably gonna be a dead or a brick hand, based on what me playing against people and watching other people play with the deck. The deck has tons of OTKs via cards like machine duplication that pretty much targets almost every card in the deck. And the deck is just explosive because any deck that can use machine duplication and sworn field attack for game is just that good. Now since I explained why the deck is good, I'm gonna go over the deck's monsters and archetype cards to show you guys what everything does in detail and give my thoughts on them. Deskbot 001. This card gains 500 attack and defense for each machine type monster you control. Now that part is very important because he counts himself and he counts every other machine on the field. If 2 or more machine type monsters are special summoned at the same time while the card in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. So when you combo out one of your other Deskbots with machine duplication, you can bring them out the graveyard and really fuck shit up. Really good. Deskbot 002. If this card is special summon, you can add 1 Deskbot card from your deck to your hand. All machine type monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense at this card. So see, Deskbot 1 and Deskbot 2 both boost each other up to get that extra OTK push. So this revolves around using little weenie guys to pump each other up and attack for game. Really good, really powerful. Deskbot 003. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon 1 Deskbot monster from your deck except Deskbot 003. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can target 1 Deskbot monster you control to gain 500 attack and defense for each card you control at the end of the turn. So once again, they continue in the theme of all of them pumping each other up, and he allows you to special summon 1 Deskbot monster from your deck when he's normal summon. So you normal summon him, special summon 1 monster from your deck, pump each other up, and just try to beat face in. Really good. I'm loving the archetype. Like I said, I played against a lot of locals. I already know what almost every card does. And the deck is common, so this deck is just so good to be so budget. Deskbot 004. If this card battles an opponent's monster during his damage calculation in either player's turn, you can activate this card. Once per battle, your opponent takes no battle damage for the rest of the turn. Also send 1 Deskbot monster from your deck to the graveyard except Deskbot 004. And if you do, this card gains attack and defense equal to the sent monster's level times 500. Now that's really good. During the damage calculation only, if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can summon 2 Deskbot monsters with different levels from your hand and or graveyard in defense position. So this allows for your this card is really tricky because he deals this effect in the damage step. It allows you to beat over things like Cosmo Big Shield by sending some of your bigger guys to the graveyard. In addition to that, one key thing about this card though, it loses to Dark Claw. Like if you want to make Dark Claw on this card, since it has to send to the graveyard by cost, it won't be able to get this effect off. But for the most part, this majority of the decks, this card is really scary because he fuels the graveyard, and then when he kills monsters, he special summons monsters from the graveyard. So kind of see how that works. And then once you guys get later into the video, you're gonna see that Deskbots have a lot of big beefy monsters, a lot of them. Deskbot 005. Here's one of them right now. Level 5 Earth, scale 10, Pendulum effect. You cannot pendulum summon monsters except Deskbot monsters. This effect cannot be negated. Monster effect. When this card is normal or special summon, you can target one spell or trap on the field and destroy it. This card gains 500 attack for each face-up Deskbot monster in your extra deck. If this card is in your Pendulum zone, you can target one Deskbot monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use this effect to Deskbot 005 once per turn. Now, with that being said, you can send Deskbot 004 to the graveyard, and then when you do, send them to the graveyard with Deskbot 004. You kill a monster with 004 and special summon him out of the graveyard. Then you can get a special summon effect to pop a card in the field. So, really cute combo you can do with 004 and 005. 006 now. Level 6, scale 1, 500 attack, 500 defense, just like all of them. So, machine do target. You cannot Pendulum summon monsters except by Deskbot monsters. Effect kind of be gated, of course. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target one monster on the field and change the battle position. That effect's not that really relevant in this meta. I guess against Cosmos, but it says target, so yeah, that kind of doesn't work against Cosmos either. This card gains 500 attack for each face-up Deskbot monster in your extra deck. If this card is in your Pendulum zone to destroy, you can target one Deskbot monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Now, I don't really see a lot of players using this one. If they do, they use it as a one-of tech. I could be wrong, but going based on what I've seen at locals, most players do not use this card. They just go based on 001, 004s, and etc. and etc. 007 now. Level 7, scale 10, same stats as everyone else. You cannot Pendulum summon monsters except Deskbot monsters. This effect cannot be negated. This card gains 500 attack for each Deskbot monster in your graveyard. Monsters your opponent controls cannot target face-up Deskbot monster for attacks except this card. And he pierces damage. He's okay. Once again, it's another one of the cards I don't really see a lot of people using outside of the Pendulum variant of the deck. But most builds I'm seeing now is just a straight up balls to the walls, OTK or bust variant. Which is pretty cool, I guess, if you like those type of decks. But for the most part, he's mainly only used in the Pendulum variant, which is a variant I really don't see that often at my locals. But this is just me based off my experience. So there's like 2 or 3 Deskbot players in my locals. 008. Now this bitch, I never see her use at all. You can Pendulum, you can same Deskbot Pendulum summon clause. Then she gains 500 for each one in your graveyard. Opponent cannot target Deskbot monster cards and effects, and she can attack twice. So if you combo her with some of the older ones and bring her out while she's on the field, then I guess she's okay. But it's one of them things like it's an okay card for the archetype, but never is gonna get used. Maybe it's a side deck card. 009. Now this is the one a lot of players have been wanting from the OCG for a while. When it came out in Shining Victories, I believe it was 009 or 004. I'm kind of confused on which one it was super popular. Once per turn during your main phase, you can make this card gain attack equal to the combined attack of all Deskbot monsters you currently control, except Deskbot 009 to the end of your opponent's turn. Only this card can attack this turn. This effect is activated. If this card battles opponent's cards, and effects cannot be activated to the end of the damage step. If this card will be destroyed by battle, you can destroy one Deskbot card you control instead. So you're mainly gonna Pendulum summon him out. In addition to that, I believe you can machine dupe him out as well, because machine dupe just says, machine dupe says just target monster and bring out the same monster. But for the most part, in the Pendulum variant, this card is really good. He gains all of their attack. In addition to that, he's gonna get their stab boost, and this is gonna be pretty much the OTK or bust card for the deck. Now they have a few off the wall monsters. Here's a Deskbot Jack card. They have a few of them are tuners, by the way. This card gains 500 attack and defense for each Deskbot card in the field. You can only use one of the effects once per turn. You can target one Deskbot card you control, destroy it, and if you do, special summon one Deskbot monster from your deck. Second effect, you can target one Deskbot monster you control, one face-up card in the fort, destroy them. 500 attack. He allows you to get that stab boost. I mean, you get the 500 attack and defense for everyone in the field, which is pretty good. It's an okay card. Can't really say I hate it, but can't really say I love it either. Okay, Deskbot base. All Deskbot monsters on the field gain 500 attack and defense once per turn. You can reveal any number of Deskbot cards in your hand, shuffle them into the deck, then draw some amount of cards. You can banish 9 Deskbot cards with different names from your graveyard or field. Side base, and shuffle all cards from opponent's hand, field, and graveyard into the deck. Now this card is insane. I think players run this as a 1-of or 2-of in the deck because it's really good, honestly, in my personal opinion. If they're not running it, they should run it. Deskbot players, let me know in the comment section down below how many copies of this card you run. But for the most part, all your guys gain 500, and then it helps fix bricky hands, which is really good because, you know, the deck can brick at times. So overall, solid card. And I like the added bonus that if it's a grind game and you got 9 random Deskbot cards and you grab different names, including this card. Well, I say it says except Deskbot base. Never mind. Either way, this card is pretty solid for what it does. Now, going into the deck's weaknesses. The deck has a few weaknesses in my opinion, and it's pretty much the deck is just OTK or bust. The deck pretty much loses to traps, and the deck's consistency hinders it in the current meta, because every deck in the meta is very fast and very powerful. Cosmos and Monarchs are a great example of decks that can outspeed this deck. But also, with that being said, if this deck get a great hand, it can give those decks a bad time. Final thoughts. The deck is OTK or bust, but while it's OTK or bust, it's still a good deck. I love OTK decks. It's a pretty cool deck in my opinion. The deck can surprise you, because in games where you think you're winning, the deck can just come out of nowhere and push your shit in and make you lose with that random OTK with the machine dupe or the etc. top deck Pendulum my handout. But overall, the deck is a solid tier 2. Only thing keeping it from tier 1 is the consistency of the deck and the fact that it cannot get over traps. Now, this was the PowerPoint presentation point of the video. Let's get to the outro. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Explain series. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Just like last week, I want you to vote right here for your guys' favorite deck that you want me to explain next. And like I always tell everyone, I do these videos because I truly believe in helping you guys become better players. And also do these videos to truly believe in you guys helping me become a better player. Chris from Team Innovation signing out. Peace, guys, and stay innovative. Deuces, Yu-Gi-Oh, or etc. Or mainly with Yu-Gi-Oh though, I've learned to not trust people. When you trust people, a lot of people in Yu-Gi-Oh, they bounce out on you